Take a walk through any urban arts district, and you will quickly notice a glaring visual paradox. The individuals who strive the hardest for a unique, anti-mainstream aesthetic inevitably end up looking like physically identical individuals, perfectly synchronized into a distinct uniform. Look at this visualization. The large cluster of dots in the middle represents the mainstream majority. When a trend emerges there, individuals seeking to rebel inevitably break away to form a counter-movement. But mathematician Jonathan Touboul demonstrated via bifurcation theory that there is an unavoidable delay in how quickly people process that mainstream shift. Watch what happens when that delay is factored in. Because the entire subculture processes the exact same oppositional data at the exact same time, they react at the exact same time. The outliers snap into a rigid grid, oscillating together in perfect unison. Their behavior is mathematically correlated. Escaping the crowd by doing the exact opposite simply creates a highly predictable parallel crowd. Reactive independence is an illusion, which forces us to ask a difficult question. Are any of the choices we make truly our own, or are we biologically trapped by the psychological gravity of the group? Early humans survived highly unstable environments by relying on an evolutionary heuristic called conformist transmission. Instead of taking on the deadly risks of independent learning, our ancestors simply copied the most common behaviors of the group, instantly inheriting the accumulated survival wisdom of the majority. That survival mechanism is physically hardwired into our neuroanatomy. If we look at this 3D cross-section of the human brain, we can isolate the ventral striatum. This subcortical nucleus is our primary reward and reinforcement center. Notice how the ventral striatum pulses as external data streams, representing social consensus, sync up with it. When you successfully align your opinions with the group, this region floods the brain with reward chemicals. Your biology processes fitting in with the exact same urgency and pleasure as finding food or hydration. But this reward system is paired with a severe punishment mechanism. When you realize your opinion deviates from the collective, the sudden withdrawal of those neurochemicals induces a visceral, neurological terror of ostracism. We can see the exact source of that terror. As social conflict occurs, the ventral striatum goes completely dark, and the amygdala immediately flashes. The amygdala interprets your deviation from the group as an acute, life-threatening prediction error. Our neurochemistry functions as a biological enforcement mechanism. These ancient circuits ensure compliance by interpreting social exclusion as a literal, life-threatening crisis for the individual. By the 19th and 20th centuries, massive industrialization and institutional bureaucracy began weaponizing this biological drive. The modern workplace and mass society required rigid behavioral conformity, stripping away authentic passion and replacing it with rote efficiency. Philosophers recognized the profound psychological cost of this societal shift. Thinkers like Friedrich Nietzsche looked at the conforming masses and saw a domesticated, docile herd, terrified of standing apart from their neighbors. Nietzsche argued that the ideologies governing this herd were entirely designed to level down exceptional individuals. By enforcing universal, standardized values, society ensured that humanity remained weak, inoffensive, and reliably mediocre. Martin Heidegger identified a similar phenomenon, which he termed the they, an impersonal, faceless collective identity that dictates how we speak, what we value, and how we live. Surrendering to the they is the effortless default state of human existence. Blending into the mass relieves the individual of the terrifying, absolute anxiety of personal freedom and independent choice. By seeking the safety of this collective identity, we transform from independent agents into routinized components of an impersonal social machine. The existentialists warned that when we allow the crowd to provide our values to escape the burden of choice, the individual self effectively disappears. Today, that conformity has been digitized, automated, and hyper-optimized. The 21st century has replaced organic cultural transmission with the algorithmic echo chamber. Social media platforms are financially bound to maximize your time on screen. To achieve that, their algorithms are explicitly designed to hack into your ventral striatum and amygdala, ensuring you are constantly rewarded with group approval and rarely challenged by conflict. We can observe this algorithmic curation in this top-down network web. The central algorithm systematically blocks the red nodes, which represent dissenting viewpoints, and exclusively feeds validating green nodes directly to the user, artificially starving the amygdala of any threat signals. As the algorithm continuously pumps in agreement, the central user node swells. This creates a cognitive illusion known as false consensus bias. You drastically overestimate how common your specific political or social views are in the real world, simply because you never encounter friction. By completely removing the necessary discomfort of diverse perspectives, these platforms simulate a feeling of absolute personal autonomy while covertly funneling users into rigid, highly polarized herds. Dismantling this algorithmic trap necessitates a move beyond reactionary rebellion. As the Hipster Paradox proves, reacting against the mainstream still keeps you neurotically tethered to its influence. A highly pragmatic framework for surviving this pressure lies in ancient Stoicism. Thinkers like Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius acknowledge that humans are inherently social creatures, bound by strict structural duties to the collective society. But the Stoics drew a sharp distinction between fulfilling those external societal duties and allowing your mind to be corrupted by the mob. True individuality is an active, defensive posture. You participate fully in the physical mechanics of the community while maintaining an absolute, impenetrable cognitive autonomy. The goal of modern life is not to relentlessly fight the crowd. It is to cultivate the intellectual discernment necessary to extract the valuable survival wisdom of cultural transmission without ever letting the crowd think for you.